Hello there. I'm very happy to say that I'm going to the Reading Brick Show again for the second time now. Last time was amazing. I'm just really looking forward to it massively. Now, last week I posted a video showing the robots I'll be taking with me to the Black Country Brick Show. An amazing event. I didn't want to do the same kind of lineup this time, so what I thought instead was I'd show you the robots I'm taking and then how the different parts of them work as a kind of like tutorial for people who want to get into Lego robot fighting, and kind of show you the components, the gear ratios, the setups. Yeah, just a way of you kind of understanding how to do some of the fundamentals. Now, I'm not saying that I am the world's best builder, and I'm not saying that the way I do things is the best way ever, but I mean, a lot of the things that I'm doing are in the current meta in the UK, and I think they're pretty good, but it's a good way for you to start. So, let's start with the best. Here's Beaky. Oh, I love Beaky. So Beaky is a hammer robot. He's powered by 2 extra large motors for the hammer, and then he's got 2 buggy motors, 1 for each wheel. But what does that look like? Well, let's start with the weapon. So the weapon, as you can see, is 2 extra large motors. That's one of these on each side. And then that's connected by a bar there. Let's get it closer to you. That's connected by a bar there, and it's 2 sets of gears that then connect onto the arm that lets the head move. What does that look like inside? Well, you've got 2 gears, one that's connected to the motor, the other one that's connected to the head. It's a small to large gear, so it's geared down, so it's a lot more torque, so it pulls. Because I don't really want him to have like a weapon where it's really, really fast, but it doesn't have that pulling power, because I need his arm to actually self-right him. So just then, I've got to use the 2 pins there to plug it into the motor. That's now connected to the motor nicely. And then the way you get it to the way I got it onto the arm is you've got these 2 holes here in the gear, which are quite nice. So that's where those 2 pins can go. So if I put that there. And now I can use that to kind of either put the head sort of this way, or with Beaky, I can actually put the pins, like 2 larger pins that go through there, and they all sort of kind of connect on together like that, so it lines up as one large arm. Both are good. I quite like this one actually. It's quite nice, like that. So that's his head weapon, and that allows him to kind of throw his head down, which doesn't do a great deal, but it also allows him to self-right, which I have used in many situations. His drive is 2 buggy motors hidden quite well inside there. There's one. You can see the black buggy motor there, and it's geared small gear to big gears. It's also geared down, and it goes through the slower port of the buggy motor onto these wheels. The wheels overlap the edge, so we can kind of drive sort of when he's reared up like this, so you can drive back down again. What does that mean? Well, here's a buggy motor, really, really powerful motor from Lego. Well, actually not from Lego anymore. They did bring it out for a while, but they were a bit too dangerous. You've got the fast port, so that one goes quite quickly, and then the slower port with more torque, more pulling power. So how do I use it? Well, this is actually Technicality's idea of way of doing it. So I've got a small gear there, and a larger gear here, so it's geared down. The smaller gear goes into this port here. Ooh, trying to do this while camera is quite hard work. And then I've got these little pieces that you've seen them before. These pieces here with a 3 pin through them, and that clips onto there and there, and that clips onto there and there, and that way putting that into there. And what that means is I can put some bushes, some little bits on the end of it, so it stays in, and then when that spins, it spins the wheel. But it also means that this, because I've used an axle with a stopper, I like the axles with stoppers, these little bits on the end, it means they can't go through the holes. So then you put the wheel on there, and that's how Beaky's drive works. There it is, it's that. Like that. It's got an extra little kind of like an extra panel here to keep it all together. But that's what gives Beaky such a fast drive, and such a nice drive. I love driving Beaky. He's going to do some nice skids, really, really fast mover now. So that's Beaky. Robot number 2, Bluetooth. God, I love Bluetooth. It's come a long way over the years. Still the same wheel, but this time I've got to just shove loads of stuff inside it to make it heavier. It's got the Team Technique drive system. Also, I've got this axle on the top of all the motor connectors with little Technic bricks in them. So there's no way those are coming off mid-fight. If you are interested in building your own sort of Bluetooth style wheel and robot, I cannot recommend Nick Cohen's page, Outwork Robotics, more. He's so good. He put the design for Pain, his original robot with this wheel, online for everyone to use. So check out that video. I'll put the link in the description. What a wonderful builder, what a wonderful guy. Wonderful robot, Pain. Use that wheel, just so good. It's the same wheel that Vegas and Reno uses. Yeah, just absolutely fantastic. So, Bluetooth is robot number 2. On to robot number 3. Robot number 3, Freaky. Oh, backed by popular demand, and isn't it gorgeous? I am so looking forward to fighting with Freaky again. Freaky is a drum spinner. This was invented by Clash of Bricks. I'll put the link for you, by a guy called Jeremy. Just absolutely fantastic. Really nice that you shared it with me. Freaky has got 2 buggy motors. One is in there, and the other one's in there. And then both of them work together to spin the drum ultra fast, so spinning both at the same time. The drum is geared up using this. So I'll show you what that looks like. It's that. So you've got a frame, and then you've got the 2 gears. That's where the buggy motor will go, and then that's where the weapon's on. So if I put the buggy motor onto the torque port again, then that gives the motor lots of push, and then that goes, let's line it up, that goes there, and there's another one on this side, and they both work together at the same time to spin that weapon round really heavily. So I've got my controller here, so I've got the steering there, and then each of the buggy motors on a different trigger. So if I hold down that one, it spins. Hold on that one, it spins, because that's a different one going. If I have them both at the same time, that's those 2 buggies both spinning with that extra speed with the geared weapon. Just absolutely lovely. Thinking about Freaky's drive, Freaky's got 2 large wheels, so they allow him to be invertible because he kind of rides on these kind of beak coasters here. So he hasn't got the kind of hidden, protected 4-wheel drive that a lot of robots have. It's got quite vulnerable big wheels, but it's the game you play. If you look at them, they're connected using these grey hubs that then connect straight to a motor. Geared with the same gears again, very similar to Beaky's gearing. It gears across and then in. Why do we use these? Let's have a closer look at them. These pieces are made of 2 parts. Here they are. And when you clip them together, they make that wheel hub. They make a nice little snap, although I don't want to do it because it's nearly impossible to get them back out again. But if you then put gears inside them, they look like this. So you've got one axle with a stopper going through onto one gear onto there, and then you've got the other gear here, and there they are. I put like a bush inside there to stop it wiggling around, and then that connects to this motor. Now the way I've done it with Freaky is I've got some lift arms that overextend it slightly, and then what you do is you snap it all on like that, and then if you push them through, there's just no way that's ever going to come off. So these are now pretty solid, and that kind of structure supports it. And then you just pop those through the wheel like that, so they connect to the wheel, and then you put as many bushes as you can on the end of this here, just to try and hope that the wheel might not come off, although it might still. But that allows, there you go, that allows that to stay on. One little trick I've seen with this is I used to use these with Bluetooth, and this bit kept coming off partway through a fight. As you kind of shake and move, this will slowly work its way out, and then suddenly this gear is not spinning and you're not connected to the motor anymore. One thing Technicalities taught me when I was building Vegas is using these pieces. These are absolutely wonderful pieces. I'll come back to them later. They're used for all sorts of things. Technicalities uses these incredibly. If I put that there, can you see it just sits on top of it like that? and then that's going to go through that hole there. Using these little axles, you can kind of create like a little vice that goes across there and kind of locks things in. So if I put that there and then push it across, there you go. That's now stuck in, and there is no way that that is ever going to get through here. So now suddenly you've got something that's locked onto the lift arms, but it's also unable to leave there. So that whole thing, really, really nice and strong. Wheel sits on the end of it. This can't escape. This is what powers Freaky, and I absolutely love it. So I've got one there, and those are the 2-wheel drive for Freaky. Oh, so glad he's back. Okay, on to robot number 4. Robot number 4 is Thomas the Tank, back by popular demand. I absolutely love this build. I built Thomas so long ago, but just every time I take him to an event, people absolutely love him. So, yep, he's coming to Reading. There'll be something called lemming fights, where lots of little robots take on a big robot or 2 big robots, and I just love Thomas to be part of that. That'd be hilarious. I do really like Thomas in the way I've designed him recently, though, using a Mold King box, and the fact you open it up, and it's just got the power button and the power cable inside there. I think that's really, really neat. If you want to build your own Thomas, I've got a video that's got all the instructions and some downloadable links for you to download your own PDF and instructions to make your own Thomas. So please do, please make your own Thomas. In fact, I'm insisting everyone must make a Thomas. I want to see 40 Thomases at our next event. Wouldn't that be something? But I just think this brings so many people so much joy, and I'm really happy it's coming along. Okay, robot number 5. Robot number 5 is Sorbeek. Oh my goodness, I love Sorbeek. The pride of Team Beaky. What an amazing robot. What a great time I have with him. Last time I was at Reading, I fought Kevin and managed to get a knock right on top of its head. It's just, you live for those sort of moments in Lego robot fighting. It's just so good. So, what makes Sorbeek special for me is 2 things, really. One, this gear system that keeps the frame together, that lets the arm move so nicely. It's controlled by a single large, extra large motor, and it uses these gears here, trying to get you a good angle so you can see, onto this one here. And that allows the whole arm to go over, and it uses these long frame pieces. Okay, so how does the arm work? Well, you've got these gears. I think it's got a, I can't remember what it's called. I'll put all the names of the pieces up in the corners when I'm editing this later. But you've got this one, it's quite nice, just like a really big gear, and it kind of, the 2 move independently of each other. Then what you need some 3 pins, and it's these frames. You can see them, they're here. There's one, and there's the other. Black in the shadow, there it is. There's the frame there. And those 2 frames basically created the basis of the whole of Sorbeek, because I built the head and arm first, then I built those 2 frames, and I built the rest of the robot off the frames. So there's the frame, and there's the gear. And basically what I spent my time doing was, if I put this on something, how can I put it somewhere and a gear touches and meshes with it nicely? And eventually I settled on this one. So, first, these are the frames that make up Sorbeek's neck and the hammer arm. So those have little holes on the side here. And I'm going to put those over there, and then just pop them in. And now that is absolutely stuck by 4 parts. So that's what does his arm. Dush, dush, dush. There it is. Then this goes into here, like that. And you can see those pop in rather satisfyingly like that. And then that motor, we're doing that. It's an extra large, one of these again. The same one I used for Beaky. That one will be moving, and that sends the head over. It's strong enough and slow enough to allow him to self-right, but also because it's such a long arm, it has that moment of force. It really comes down heavily. I know watching the NHRL, some of the robots, like their hammer saws, go like, gosh, they're really, really fast. You watch Megatron and all those sort of ones, like they're really quick. Sorbeek's one doesn't come down that quickly compared to lots of other robots, but it is nice and strong, which means it allows it to be longer. And then that can get that really nice moment of force, like right the way across. And also allows me to reach further inside a robot. So that's how Sorbeek's neck works. That's the mechanism. As for his weapon, lots of people, including me with Spin City, put the buggy motor on a hammer saw up on the head here. But I've never liked that because it's so vulnerable just sitting there. And also it's like a heavy weight on the side of your robot. And I want this to go over as fast as possible. And I don't want to be dragging a motor behind me. So I saw William Fong's Sawblaze design, and he puts a buggy motor in the middle of the robot. There it is. That's the weapon motor there, right in the middle of the robot, even though the spinning head is up here. And when I first built Sorbeek, it had chains that go here. And I think they transfer the power better, but one little tap and all the chains fall apart. And I was spending like half of all of my repair time at events just sticking chain back together, and I got fed up. So we changed the rules to say that you can use elastic bands for moving weapon parts. So as soon as that came in, I just put these 2 large elastic bands, and I've never looked back. So you can see inside Sorbeek there are 2 tyres, one there, so wheeled tyres. They're into the fast port of the buggy motor. So when they turn, they touch these other 2 tyres that have got all wheels without tyres, and they are slightly smaller, so it means it goes slightly faster. And that allows Sorbeek's weapon to spin up. I could have gone for like even bigger tyres here maybe, or smaller ones there, but I think this ratio is just right. It gets it up to speed nice and quickly, allows me to deliver the hit and then get away. This is heavy enough as it is. It should be doing the damage plus the arm going over. So there is Sorbeek. Onto robot number 6. Robot number 6, Apep. Oh, I've been looking forward to fighting with this one so much. My new geared flipper robot. So there it is, there's the flipping arm. Some nice forks, I'll talk about those in a second. It's using another Team Technique drive system, the one that he made for Sidewinder. So it means it can have its wheels at the back, so it means it can right itself over if it's on it's kind of like teetering on there, or while it's using its self-righter, it can just speed its its wheels round. 2 buggy motors, again, this time on the fast port, but geared down slightly. But what about that lifter? Well, look at it. So you've got this main bar here. Then you've got this small arm at the back, which is where all the power is coming from. You've got this main arm, and then you've got the scoop arm. You've also got this support beam under here, and I've put a brick separator on the front to do the scooping. How does it work though? Well, these are wheel hubs. They're a little bit like the ones I used for Freaky earlier, but they gear stuff down, so they're nice and tough. They go into, I'll show on this side, another buggy motor. So I've got a buggy motor on this side and a buggy motor on this side. This one is for drive, this one is for drive, and then these 2 work together for the weapon. A little bit like how Beaky's extra large motors work together for the weapon. These 2 work together, but they're buggy motors. They're a lot faster, a lot stronger. And these work together like that. Let me show you. I've mocked up a little version here. This was from Wizard Ben with his incredible robot, Brick Astley. Amazing guy, really, really kind of him. And he showed me how to use these bars in this configuration. So let's see how it works. So you've got the green is that scoop. The black holds the scoop to the main arm, the yellow one, there. So that blue holds it to the frame, so that does the pivoting. This white one gives you that kind of slight angle, which means you can put like an axle through it. So for my one here, it's this one on Apep. And then that is where the planetary hub planetary hub, wheel hub, whatever it is. I'm terrible with names. I'll just put them in the description. I'll just put the little picture here. That's where that goes around. So you can see that's where the motor goes in here. And when it's wheeled round, that's the flipping action. Now this is why I like Apep so much. It's got that really low profile, like really, really slick, because it can go down so low. Look at the angle that gets to. Right, lovely. So there it is. There's the flip, and then it comes back down again. So it's that tiny arm pivoting over that big arm that makes it move. And there it is, the wonders of Wizard Ben and Brick Astley. Go check out his channel, please subscribe to him. He's a wonderful guy and he shares everything. He's just lovely. So there is Apep, really looking forward to that. Let's look at a very similar robot, another flipper, at number 7. Aquilla. I absolutely love Aquilla. You might remember it from my flipper video, an elastic powered flipper. So what that means is down here we've got a large motor with a winch system that came from PKW. Please check out his channel, an incredible builder, really generous guy as well, shares a lot of his designs. That spins and pulls the string. That string pulls the flipper down. I do it very slowly with my hands, there it is. And then when it releases the weapon with that huge amount of force from these bits of catapult elastic here. So I've got two pieces of elastic that pull onto this back bit here. So when that whole thing goes down, there it is. Also got the Sidewinder drive system from Technicalities again. This time I put a wheel on the back so he can kind of wheel around and then just flip himself over using that back part of his wheel. But exactly the same bar system that Aquilla uses, and the ones I've now also put onto Apep, but this time it's a really explosive elastic firing bit. A couple of things I want to share about this. One, this bracing system. This is really clever. Those pieces I talked about earlier, that I said that Technicalities uses really, really well, they're here, and they kind of brace the whole thing together. They stop it from coming apart. And this is one thing as an early builder I just didn't understand. If you look at my early video of Freaky against Second Revolution, it's got pulled apart. Don't use friction as a way of keeping your models together. Use interlocking pieces. So all the way through, the amount of power that this generates, I've had to put all over there these pieces to stop it from pulling itself apart. Like, I think it's pretty much everywhere now, and I'm pretty happy it's not going to happen anymore. But let's show you how it works. Here you go. Here are 5 beams that are just held together with pins. So if that went into a fight, it would just kind of pop apart. There's nothing other than the friction of the pins holding it together. It will just fall apart. If someone catches it, it's just going to pull apart. So what do you do? Well, using those tiny axles, by the way, using these tiny axles and these pieces with a pin in them, you can see it kind of works nicely together. And what you do is you put them onto the end of a lift arm like that. So that's stuck in with those axles sticking through it. You put that in there, and you see the other end comes across. It's like that. Then you put this one here. And now at the moment it can still come apart because there's nothing clamped down. But as soon as I lock those two in place, it's not going anywhere. So that's why I have, let's count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those across this weapon, so that none of it pulls apart when it's firing. And it also holds, they also hold these kind of bars in to stop them from kind of slipping off their axles. So that, I think, is a really amazing use of these, and I use it in quite a few of my robots now for stopping anything I don't want to come apart. The other thing you'll see a lot of robot builders do is use brick separators for forks. Brick separators are amazing because I think they're probably the sharpest bit of Lego. If you look at them, they've got a really, really sharp edge, and that's what people use to get under other people's robots by like shaving the arena. But how do they work? Well, there's one. And then what you do is, let's gather some things. You've got these pieces again with these two little axles at the top. You can see why these are so valuable. These are so brilliant. People love them. And then there's a brick separator. Now that's the normal way people kind of hold it. But if you turn it upside down and put it there, you can push those down into it. And now that stays on pretty well. In a fight, if they get hit hard, these might fall off before anything breaks, or these little bits here will snap, but just get a lot of them if you're going to an event. You can use these pieces. The other pieces people sometimes use are these ones. They look like this. So you put 2 of those together, and then it does the same job, but this time you can kind of choose which hole to go through. I normally go through the bottom ones, they kind of hang. But there are 2 ways of doing it. Lots of people do it in lots of different ways. Other thing to mention, with the bigger separators, you just use more pieces. So I've just got like 4 of them across it there, and then I've got lots and lots of axles across the top just to hold it all together. Like that. Okay, on to robot number 8. Big bird, big bird, big bird. Big Bird is absolutely spectacular. I realised I didn't take him to Reading last year because I've had him just less than a year. So I've had him, I think it was just after Reading that Team Technique built this one for me. So go check out my video about Big Bird. You'll see kind of how it's put together. But 2 buggies powering a sped up weapon. Team Technique, one of the things that he goes for is a lighter weapon that travels faster, and I think that's really amazing. It kind of allows you to spin up quicker when you've kind of your weapon's been stopped by someone. Really good idea. It's got 2 buggy motors for that, 2 buggy motors to drive. The drive's nice and protected behind these curved lift arms, and then 1 final motor here, which is an extra large motor that controls the self-righting arm, which just throws it back over again. Because if your wheels are encased, that's great, but it means you can't drive when you're in this position. So you need that little arm just to tip you forward. But yeah, go check out Team Technique. Please subscribe to his channel, and if you want to, buy one of the robots he's selling. You will not regret it. These are wonderful, wonderful machines. I'm so glad I bought the frame for Big Bird from him. It's transformed the way I build robots. So happy with Big Bird. I really want to put him in some good fights in Reading. I think it's going to be a great time for him. Okay, on to robot number 9, Blooper. Oh, Blooper. Only a few weeks old at this point, and I really cannot wait to start fighting with them. Have a look at my video for the review of Technicalities robot Blue. Absolutely fantastic robot. So this is the drum from Blue from Technicalities, and then inside here I've got the drive system from Team Technique. Again, so the same one as is in Big Bird. I'm quite chuffed with the way I've done this. I've kind of turned the battery box upside down and then had a frame, and then an axle goes through the frame and then through these Technic pieces, so none of these are going to move. So all those cable connectors are really, really well placed down. It's an easiest victory you could get in Lego robot fighting, just knocking someone hard enough so just one of their motors just does that, and suddenly their entire drive or weapon is dead. It doesn't matter how tough your robot is, if one of those little cables just moves a little bit, that's it. So I'm fed up with it. So that's why I really work hard on trying to keep my cables down. One of the things I'm quite happy with this is the self-righter. So you've got an extra large motor there, a large motor there, attached to this. And you can see that there. It's a worm gear with a large gear here, and that connects to this arm here. And that is the bit that kind of sends it over. How does that work? It's made up of a few pieces, mostly this kind of wheel box here, this hub or whatever they call it. Yet again, I'll find the names properly later. Out the way. So then that just drops in there. It's a lovely fit, like that. But I shouldn't have done that in that order, because what you need to put in first is this, a worm gear. So it's an inclined plane wrapped around a cylinder, also known as a screw. And you pop it into there. And the reason why these are so good and so well thought of is because the thing about worm gears is they transfer, I think, at 1 to 1. So they're not very fast, but when you turn that, it spins. But the other thing is, it is incredibly hard to stop it. So if I put this arm here, that's how the self-righter works. If I put my finger in front of it, it's really hard because it does not slip. I can't push that back again, because if I push that back again, all that happens is the worm gear slides a little bit inside the box and it just doesn't go anywhere. So you can create something that has just a huge amount of friction and torque in pushing something over. So that's why this whole robot can get pushed over by that tiny little single arm, because it will just push it over. Yeah, really liking this. Really looking forward to using Blooper. It's fast, it hits hard, it's got a nice self-righter, and I think it looks pretty good. So this would be a great robot to use in Reading, especially as Mike's arena is quite big, so it means I get to kind of race around quite a lot, and I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, on to robot number 10 is Voytech. Have a look at this. I am really chuffed with this. Voytech's got his little Voytech the Bear stickers. Look up Voytech the Bear. Voytech, W-O-J-T-E-K. Polish spelling, Polish story. This again uses the Technicalities, not Technicalities, sorry, Team Technique drive system, but also a kind of a take on the claptrap arm, but using a worm gear system, which on these kind of hubs that Technicalities found. Sorry, Team Technique found. I keep saying technicalities. What I really want to do with this is pick up a robot and then just drive it around in front of the crowd, holding it above like some sort of hideous prize. I think that'd be great, just to be able to kind of run around for a bit, give a good chase, give a good fight, and then just grab it, lift it up, drive it around the audience, and then just deliver it into the pit. That is my ultimate goal for Voytech for the Reading weekend. Robot number 11 is Flappy. This is the design of Outwork Robotics, Nick Cohen again. Absolutely incredible, his robot Pappy. I bought the design, or I bought the instructions, and then made my own. Obviously, I made it yellow and into a chicken. I love this robot. It was very, very hard to make. And I don't still fully understand how it really works. I know it uses a winch system with two motors working together, which sends this arm over, which then sends this arm up. Very, very clever, but it is an incredibly tough robot. It's so densely built and so cleverly built. So I love this. This is kind of, Flappy's kind of become my go-to robot for rumbles when there's some really nasty spinners involved. And you'll see me in quite a lot of rumbles with this, just kind of sitting in the corner and just waiting for my moment, like waiting for all the big hitters to just kind of calm down a bit. Because it's so tough, I know it will survive, but also it's just such a lovely robot to drive. It's just got a really nice drive to it. So yeah, Flappy, going to a second time at Reading. Really hope to get another couple of grabs and suplexes and throws, but he'll also be my robot to throw in whenever there's a really nasty rumble and I want to take part, but I don't want to take the robot that I put in the rumble and put it in a bag and leave it in the bag for the rest of Reading. Yeah, okay, I think we're on to our final robot number 12. Hey Maker. Hey Maker is the newest member of Team Beaky with its overhead spinning bar, very similar to Bruin, but I got the idea from Team Technique's Sidewinder. It's also got the Sidewinder drive system, so it can kind of, when it's flipped up, it can just pop itself back over again. A very, very clever system invented by Team Technique. I've got Hey's head spinning on top of it. If you look over, you've got two buggies controlling the drive either side, very similar to the ones I've already shown you today. And then you've got two buggies working together to spin that one center. Let's get the light on it. That one center gear. Now that one center gear sends the arm around. But how does that work? Well, these two both spin this way, and then that center gear will then spin that way. So they're both working together in the same direction at the same time. But let's have a look at what that actually looks like. So underneath Hey, this is basically what's going on. You've got two buggy motors spinning two gears that way. And can you see they work together because the middle gear, so odd and even gears, if these two are odd, they'll go the same direction. And if this and this was here, they'd be even, so they'd go the other direction. But there it is, and that spins round that one in the middle. That means you've got two buggies working together, spinning really hard together, spinning this one the other way. But how does the arm connect? Well, there's some really clever idea and work in here. This little wheel sits above the motors, and that's what this rests on. So there's no friction here. It's kind of, well, it is friction obviously, but there's very little friction. It allows it to smoothly run around and kind of support the base of it so it doesn't flop down too much, because without this, it would be a bit wobbly or it would start hitting the wheels. But it's just enough so it sits there. But then how does that axle connect to the weapon head? Well, here we go. So this one will sit there. And this is kind of what the bar looks like. It's got that, like imagine that is underneath Hey's head. It's there. Now you've got two little gears here, and they're just attached using pins to the frame. And inside, you've got a big gear like this that does that. Now, why is that important? Well, when you thread that through like that, watch what happens. If I don't put the gear on and I just spin those buggy motors, nothing happens. You can't just put it on an empty hole like that. You've got to put the gear on there. So that's an axle hole now. And if I put it down, it sits with those gears there. So now those gears hold it to the weapon frame like that. Isn't that good? But the reason it's really, really clever is so there it is, kind of that's resting on there, and that spins up and fights. But because these two aren't attached down to anything, they can still move, which means when this is going incredibly fast and it hits something like there, if that thing doesn't move, the axles can still move, he says. The motors can still move the axle like this. And what normally will happen is, because I haven't got perfect reactions, as soon as I hit someone, I'll let go of the weapon motors just for a second. But while that's going on, that can still move freely, which means these motors can still move against something hitting it, but instead of keeping on going and snapping stuff, they've got that freedom of movement for a few seconds, and then I stop, I can reset, and then when I go again, it's still ready to go. So it gives it that slight wiggle, which I just think is such a clever idea. So well done, Team Technique. Wonderful solution to that problem. And that's my 12th robot. So, massively looking forward to the Reading Brick Show. Thank you ever so much to Mike for inviting me. Thank you to Technicalities and Team Technique and Wizard Ben and Outwit Robotics and everyone else who's helped with the design of my robots. I do love collecting other people's ideas and using them, but I think that's what I love about the LEGO community. There's a lot of sharing that goes on, which is why I wanted to share so many of these things with you, because if there's any of you out there trying to create your own weapons, trying to create your own robots and are getting stuck, I just hope that I could have been helpful with this video. Please subscribe to all of those people, please. That it just makes people so happy when they get more subscribers. And I'll see you in Reading, and I'll post a couple of videos about what's going on in there. Cheers all.